Former Minister Professor Tissa Vitharana states that the purchase of electricity by the Ceylon Electricity Board from private sectors for a higher price will be a cost the consumer will have to bear. However, Deputy Minister of Power and Renewable Energy Ajit P. Parira asserts that the consumer will not be burdened by the cost.
The Ceylon Electricity Board had sought the permission of the Public Utilities Commission on the 1st of April to obtain electricity from a privately owned power plant in Amblipitia. Rejecting the request, the Commission had informed the CEB that there is no need for urgent purchasing of electricity. However, the CEB had added 100 megawatts of electricity to the national grid after obtaining it from the privately owned power plant in Amblipitia. Meanwhile, the Public Utilities Commission scrutinized the CEB for seeking permission to purchase 155 megawatts of electricity when the Cabinet had only approved the purchasing of 135 megawatts at a time of need. The CEB had initially requested that permission be granted for the purchasing of 100 megawatts of electricity from the Amblipitia power plant, while making another request for an additional 55 megawatts of electricity.
Even though the electricity capacity of the Amblipitia power plant is at 100 megawatts, it can only generate 80 megawatts. The calculation was made taking into consideration that 100 megawatts could not be generated. However, permission was later granted on the premise that 100 megawatts of power could be generated. There is no hiding nor any sort of con involved. The changes that occurred when an agreement was signed to meet the full capacity from the Amblipitia power plant is what stirred the controversy.
It is only a handful of electricity engineers who make policy decisions. The rest do not belong to this mafia. It is this handful of people who control it and obtain electricity from the private sector for a higher price. The unit price is 3 rupees for hydropower, while in Noracholi it is 6 rupees. We have been informed that an agreement has been signed to make a payment of 31 rupees per unit to private companies. This additional cost falls on the shoulders of the general public. As the Public Utilities Commission states, it is unnecessary to depend on the private sector as it will only lead to fraud.
I believe that viewing every problem as merely a fraud is unfair. It is unjustifiable to argue that the CEB and all its engineers are thieves. It is true that there are frauds in the CEB, but not all engineers should be held responsible.